again to the third annual Sauder Summer Global Case Competition. Again, this is the final round of the competition. At this time, I would also like to introduce our People's Choice Awards. We have here the first place, second place, and third place prizes, and also the People's Choice Award. So your spectators will notice that you have been each handed a ballot where you can vote for your top choice. We ask that you watch all of the presentations, vote for your choice at the end by ticking the box, and then when you exit the room over there, please just drop off your ballot into the box that we have prepared. And again, we will continue, and this is the final round of the competition. I will now introduce the judges again. Here we have Mr. Rick Christians, the General Manager at Glentel, Mr. Bill Kennedy, the Director of Services and Sales Support at Glentel, Mr. Mark Burkles, the Vice President, Investor Relations at Finning International, Mr. Brian Levenkind, the President and Director of Argentum Tax, co-CEO of MD Clinics, and co-founder and CFO of Life Care Health Canada, Mr. Bob Elton, the current Chief Risk Officer at Van City, Mr. Mark Tomachek, the Managing Director at CMLS Financial, and Mr. Tom Wong, Senior Advisor at HSBC. Again, audience, please turn off your mobiles and refrain from using them during the presentation. In addition, please do not leave the room or make any disruptions for any reason. After the question and answer period, there will be 10 minutes allocated to judge deliberation. Each presentation will be 20 minutes long, followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. Any time not used for the presentation will be allocated to the question and answer period. For the presentation, the timer will be giving visual reminders at the 5-minute and 1-minute mark. When there are 15 seconds remaining, the timer will be signaling presenters through arm gestures. Presentations will be strictly cut off when the presentation time has elapsed. Judges, we also request again that you not ask any new questions in the last minute of the question and answer period. The timer will also give you a reminder. Please note, again, that all presentations and question and answer periods will be recorded. Presenters, you may now start when you are ready.
When I went out of high school, I had, like all other boys, to serve my mandatory duty in the Royal Danish Army. And it's a random draw, so I ended up in Communications Division. And that was an interesting experience. The first week I was in the Army, I got a 40 kilo backpack on my back. And I asked my sergeant, what is this I'm running around with? And he told me, this is a radio. And I said, but I'm a child of the communications age. So I drew out my iPhone 2 at that time. This one can communicate to China, to Russia, to Africa, wherever. Why would I run around with a radio? And what he told me was, yeah, private. But drop that one in a pool of water and you're not going to communicate with anyone. This backpack has saved life since the Second World War. That was my first lessons of how important good old school radio technology actually is, also for modern day operation. So the story doesn't end here. The second thing I really learned was that they actually started implementing, while I was in the Army, the digital military, as they so called it. And here we got iPads with, of course, very militarized, with rubber all over, and they couldn't break, and camouflage colors, but they started implementing structures that could keep track of tanks, keep track of resources, and everything else in the military, new and modern and digitalized solutions to cope to old military problems. This is why we come today. This is what we believe that your company should also target. We want to take an old industry as communication and radio into the 21st century with modern day solution and new implementation to digitalize the communications industry. We are the CBS team. This is Katrine, Kasper, Philip. My name is Andreas. Philip will now take you through today's agenda.
Thank you, Andreas. Yes, so we're standing here today suggesting you to integrate a two-step solution. The first step of this solution is to become a fully integrated solution for your customers in the segments that you're currently operating in. This means that you will take the customer in his or her hand from the very beginning of every project all the way to the post-project era, where you will be at their service at any moment. The second part of this strategy is to provide Wi-Fi on the go. Wi-Fi on the go is Wi-Fi to buses, trains, and also aircrafts. Now, we will go into depth with this solution in just a brief moment, but what is important to know for now is that if you integrate this solution, you will increase your revenue in the business division with 28% over the next 5 years, so that is till 2019. Moreover, you will increase your EBITDA by 88%, and you will increase your revenue share from the business division with 50.3% compared to your total revenue. Now, Kasper over here will give you the insights in just a little moment, and from there, Katrine and Kasper will go into depth with the first part of our solution. The next part of our solution, Andreas will go into depth with. After this, I will go into depth with the financials, and then Andreas will take the next steps.
Thanks, Philip. So if we take a step back for a moment, we see that traditionally in your industry, you have been purchasing all of your radio equipment from the manufacturer and then sold it on to the end users, your customers. However, we have seen recently that something's going on. Actually, it turns out that the manufacturer is skipping the intermediary steps, so they're skipping your part of the business and selling directly to the end customers. Is this good for our business? No, it's not. We see that in the past year, sales have been down by 20%, and not even sales have declined. Actually, also the markets have declined by almost 70%. So one thing is obvious, we have to do something. This is why we propose to you that you actually become the solution. You're not only a provider of radio equipment, you actually do a full integrated comprehensive solution for your customers, and thereby you will always become the natural choice in the industry whenever a new communications equipment has to be installed. And now Catherine will take you through the beginning phases of why we believe this is a really good idea for you.
Thank you. So we think you should target your customer with full solution needs. Currently we have two examples of customers here. We have John who works in the mines. His customer needs is that he wants a reliable two-way communication that is durable, simple to use, and it doesn't cost a lot. Unfortunately for your company, manufacturer are going straight to the end user instead of selling them to us and then we can sell them on. That's why we're unable to compete in this segment. That's why we want to target a police officer. He wants real-time data with multi-channel communication where he can communicate with other people like himself working in the police force, where they can have access to different databases with lots of information what's going on in the police force, as well as personal tracking. So if he is on the road and has help for assistance, he can see who is near him and it's easier for him to contact them instead of calling back to the police station where they can contact the necessary police force. Also very important with a secure encryption in order to avoid cyber attack. So by doing that, we can have a competitive advantage where we will use Airtel or current. So we want you to focus on providing integrated solutions. We looked at LMRS and wireless backhaul and you can see that they complement each other. We set up a few criteria for LMRS and wireless backhaul, and what we come to the conclusion by looking at the different criteria is that these two should be merged in to each other. We don't want to start a new, we just think that both of these divisions should be merged into one, and that way we can optimize it. So by combining LMRS and wireless backhaul to optimize full solution integration for your service.
To put it simply, we propose to you that you move up the value chain. In recent years, with the technological advance, we have seen that customers have more and more complex and sophisticated needs and demands. They want real-time video surveillance, data transmission in huge amounts from remote locations to the headquarters. They want to know where every single employee is at any time. They have so many high demands that we need to move up in order to accommodate these new needs in the market. This is why I propose to you that you take the customer by the hand from the very beginning to the very, very late stage. More specifically, looking at the design stage, this is where we believe that a great part of the value added will be created. We will, by interacting with the customers, we will do all the planning and detailed analysis of the customer's needs and wants, and thereby design a really integrated and tailored solution for the customers. During the implementation and testing phase, the installation stage, we are installing the solution at our client sites. We're testing it continuously to make sure that we're accommodating all these needs and it's really user-friendly and that everyone is on the same page, so that it's as user-friendly and easy and implementable as possible. At the last stage, the post-project stage, we believe that this is where the most of the value is added. Here we are turning over the project to the customer. We are training them, giving them adequate training so they know how to handle it. We do after-sales support and we keep on doing maintenance as long as they might require it. And by really engaging in close relationships with the customers, we hope to establish long-term relationships with these high-value customers. And this is why we believe that an integrated solution is really the way to go forward, to move up the ladder. It's very important here that we're not saying that you should neglect your current customers. We're just saying that you are currently in the industry where you are having a rough time. So the current customers you can still serve, you should definitely do that. But we really propose that you move up the value chain and create this integrated solution, become the priority first choice whenever a company wants a new communications solution. We acknowledge that there will be some challenges. It's a demanding process and it's tough to establish these long-term client relationships. However, we believe that this is where the high margins are. You will furthermore have the opportunity to gain recurring revenue and also have extra sales for this. And lastly, this is not something we propose just because we think it's a good idea. We actually believe that you have the capabilities to do it. We believe you have the scale, the experience, and not least the human capital to merge your two ambitions and create these integrated solutions to create better solutions for your customers. So this is how we believe that you can become the solution for the customers. Now Andreas is going to take you through how we believe you can take this and apply it to another really strong high potential segment to create further growth for your business.
Thank you, Kasper. So as Kasper and Katrina just went through, this is a very general model of how we're gonna be a solution provider to our current customers. But we've also went through the reports and looked at what is the next step in communication, what's going on in the market at the moment. We've identified some key areas here that's really the growing market and the growing segments. We've matched it with what we believe are the key criteria for projects that you should enter, and figured especially the movable connection side is something where there's high potential, low supply, and really a possibility for you with your current capabilities, both in the connectivity and the backbone, to be a one solution provider. So what is movable connection? Movable connection is providing the backbone, the infrastructure for constant Wi-Fi solutions on the go. This is on buses, trains, and airplanes. What we really see is that in all of these segments, there are huge demands the last couple of years. Customers have really been demanding, and this is something that's went from being a good to being something that is actually considered necessary, a right when you travel. So we'll go through them one by one. Of course, the bus being the easiest and most direct to implement, then train a little harder, and then the airplane segment that we believe is a long-term solution, but also yields really high revenue. First, in the buses, we see that 91.3% actually plan to use their devices when they get Wi-Fi. We see that here in Vancouver, there's been attempts to provide Wi-Fi for our customers, and it's actually gained 8.1 and 9.3 million Canadian dollars in revenue from advertisement for these two 6-month projects that have been implemented. But what we've also seen is that the bus companies haven't been able to keep up with this. They haven't been able to find a provider that could keep beyond the half year, could keep beyond there and continuously provide services, update, maintenance, and solutions that would keep this a constant revenue stream for us and for the other companies involved. So how are we going to fit in here? We suggest that you leverage on your current synergies with the companies you already have great deals with in retail. These are Rogers Wireless, Bell, and Virgin Mobile. These are internet carriers. These are the ones that provides internet for your phones, your computers at home. Secondly, we want to partner up with Icomera. Icomera has invented a product and are producing a product that allows you not to tap into a single carrier network, but actually have a continuous flow of Wi-Fi being constantly being secure and direct connection to the nearest carrier, and thereby creating a smooth transition in the different areas of the city and where the bus might go. We believe that this really gives the possibility for gaining value for all the stakeholders involved. Icomera will of course be able to sell that product for us. The Bell, Rogers, and Virgin will be able to do the advertisement. This is why the carriers will go into it. And we, Glentel, will provide the product, the solution. We'll provide the team both in connectivity and in the technology that we just talked about that will really make sure that this is an ongoing and rolling solution that doesn't break down and continues to operate smoothly. Moving on to the trains. Here we want to take this solution to the next step. The difference between a train and a bus is that a bus typically operates within the city, where a train can get out in very rural areas, especially here in Canada, where there's no connection, there's no carriers in the long distant routes. What we see is that Via Rail Canada has already tried to implement Wi-Fi, but has also failed on the long distant routes. But there is a huge demand for it in the railway industry. This makes sense. You sit even longer in a train than you do in a bus, and therefore you will spend even more time on the internet. How are we going to cope with this? We will leverage on the expertise we got from Icomera and partner up here with Huge. The thing about the Icomera system is that it effectively also makes us able to not only take current carriers and sending poles, but also take satellite connections. Huge provide internet satellite connection that will be able to cover those black holes, the spots where we're not able to get current carrier connection, and thereby again create a whole solution for the customer. We'll have internet all the way and going from A to B. Now we're moving on to the airplane. This is the long part. I guess all of you have tried to travel once or twice with airplane and possibly seen that there is possibility for Wi-Fi at the moment. But what we see is only one Canadian airline actually supports Wi-Fi. And there are 33 operating airlines in Canada. We believe this is a market you could tap into. It's a difficult market, it's very difficult technology, and we will have to do a lot of research. What we've seen is that there are 3 Wi-Fi solutions at the moment: air to ground, air to orbit, and KU ground to orbit. We will use Huge, our partner, with the satellite to go into air to orbit. As the satellites are already out there, we found that the solution is feasible. Instead of sending the Wi-Fi down to the train, they will now also send it directly to the airplane. This is a long-term project, and it will take some time to figure out how to utilize it correctly, but we believe it also yields very high returns in the long run. So as we see, we have a trade-off: short-term, but low possible revenue gains, then medium, and then high, with higher and higher possible gains. Philip will now take you into exactly how these revenue gains are gonna affect our bottom line.
Thank you, Andreas. Yes, so as mentioned before, the base case for these initiatives is that it will increase your revenue in the business division by 28% in 5 years. This is taking into account that you will also have some capital expenditures. Now, based on an analysis of your balance sheet and on the industry average, we have calculated that the cost of capital will be 8.7%. Moreover, what is also interesting to look at here is that if you are able to actually implement the air traffic solution, the Wi-Fi to air traffic solution, within these 5 years, you'll be able to gain 39% extra additional revenue within these 5 years. So, of course, a very important theme in this case is the risks and therefore also the mitigations to those risks. Now, we have found the 4 most important risks for your company if implementing this solution. And we have put the risks into a evaluation in terms of probability and also strategic impact. So the first and most obvious risk that there could occur is that the customers would prefer to buy directly from the suppliers rather than buying from you in terms of the supply that you're currently supplying with. If this happens, it is very important that you market to the consumers and communicate the advantages that you have by providing a full solution. Another risk is also the industry volatility that might affect the purchase behavior of the customers negatively. If this happens, then you should focus on the second part of our strategy, the Wi-Fi to trains, buses, and airplanes. Then, of course, there's the government. The government might propose regulations against public Wi-Fi. They might even give a monopoly to another company. If this happens, it's important that you tell the government, that you lobby the government and the authority responsible that you can deliver the best solution within this market. And finally, when you go out and implement this solution integration strategy, there might be some competitive responses. If there is, it's important that you continuously improve your human resources and that you strive to become market leader. Finally, as said before, you'll gain 28% increase in your revenue, but also it's important to notice that assume the first year that you can unlock the potential in the airline industry of providing them with Wi-Fi, you can unlock 6.7 million Canadian dollars. And this is all while ensuring shareholder value and customer satisfaction. Now Andreas will take you through the next steps and the implementation.
Thank you, Philip. So this is a two-step strategy. First one, becoming the solution, is the overall rehaul of the business model. First, we need to prepare the transition, design the integrated solution, and initiate the sales. This is where we listen to the customers, get the feedback, the current customers, which are the ones that would benefit from this solution and what can we give them. Box pop analysis and the general understanding of our new customer segment. Then we will continuously develop and will of course see new products just as the airline and bus industry. In that industry, we first want to target the bus solution. This is really also for the training of the new structure. This is where they learn how to be a team. And then we go from train to airplane, and we believe, thank you, we're now over train.
So returning to your first question regarding what we believe why customers would choose us over the manufacturers. It's our understanding of the market right now is that we differentiate ourselves on a range of different parameters. One of them is our long-term expertise within this market, and we have really intimate customer relationships currently. So we really have an understanding and feeling of the customer needs and wants. By combining our expertise within the LMRS systems and within the wireless backhaul systems, we believe we can create a really integrated, comprehensive solution that would be very attractive to our customers. So there might be some of our manufacturers doing some kind of this, but we believe that we have the expertise, and you have the expertise to do this even better. Regarding the revenues,
So regarding the revenues, what you see here is the additional revenue from the two solutions. So an extrapolation of the trend from now, 5 years forward, shows a decrease of 5.4 million Canadian dollars. Now, if we look at the first solution, what we can see is it will almost get the decrease from the trend extrapolation. And what we can also see is that it will be the public safety sector that will drive the large majority of this increase in the revenue.
So one of the questions on those revenues for the timeline on there. Is there a timeline in regards to these numbers?
This is within the next 5 years.
So we're actually not going to start making more money. Is that probably
That's not how. Sorry, that's not how it should be interpreted. It should be interpreted as one whole, looking forward to 2019. It's not a timeline.
okay. So the second question on your second portion of that, you talked about Wi-Fi and actually using that as connectivity on the go. So it's interesting, one of your slides that was actually shown in there, where it actually said free Wi-Fi on the side of the bus. So how are we actually going to be able to go in there and make money on Wi-Fi and actually get it for free right now? Can you actually make money on that as a subscriber base? Or do you actually see that?
So what we've seen is that there is a great incentive from both bus and train providers to have these Wi-Fi opportunities. In a case study we did on a Swedish solution looking like this, there was an increase in customer turnover by 4% and an increase in customer satisfaction by 25%. This means that we believe that the providers of buses, the bus companies, and the airline will pay us for the project management and the implementation in order to position themselves stronger in their market and thereby leverage their turnover. So the revenue will go, we will get paid for implementing the products. The carriers will get paid for the revenue generated from advertisement, and the value-added activity will come from increased utility of buses and increased turnover of customers.
So really what we're saying is that it won't be rental as selling to the client, it will be actually rental actually selling to the bus companies, which in turn would then actually, so we would be more of a service-based company to the TransLinks or the airlines.
Sorry?
So we would actually be billing the TransLink or the airlines at that point, not necessarily the client being consumed. That's the way that.
Yeah, we will sell to the, as you absolutely right, we will sell to the bus companies and the train and the airlines, and they will then provide it further on to the consumers. We'll not sell directly to the consumer. We'll provide the product, we will go to the, in a case scenario, we will go to the bus company, we will say, we have seen from case studies that this will increase your passenger turnover. We have seen that if you provide free Wi-Fi in your bus, you will have more customers. That we have in the data. We can give you, we assume that this will give you an extra revenue that is more than what it will cost you to have our solution. Therefore, we offer you this full solution where we go in and take care of it, we put up all the structure, and we continuously maintain it.
Versus the end client actually, or not the end client, but TransLink as an example, you don't do the sales website, the actual, or carriers like there, Rogers, even Shaw, that's 60,000 free Wi-Fi locations. So that's going to be the challenge that we're really trying to get to TransLink. That will do it themselves, or even carriers are actually doing it, actually buy from a carrier company for our services.
As we've seen, the problem with the solution, you're right, there's been one attempt from TravelLink to actually go in there themselves and set it up. But they don't have the continuous capability to maintain the structure. They would go in and need to hire new people. We believe that we can be the external part here that knows how to really leverage on all our other products and therefore be a much better and cheaper provider than would be the capital expenditures they would have to incur themselves in order to provide the same service. Because we can leverage on our former knowledge from both the LR and LMRS and from our wireless backhaul solution. We believe that our technical capabilities and expertise are much greater than the companies that these companies are, and therefore we provide them with a service that they will not be able to fill themselves.